What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with another video. Brady and I are going to be doing our NBA Power Rankings for this week. It's Tuesday, November 30th. We're doing all the rankings, and records are going to be updated before today's games. So, Brady, let's just get right into it.
All right, so coming off first, we got ranked 30th. Moving down the chain, I think is the Orlando Magic. Not much going good for them. I think some sad news. Jalen Suggs with that fractured thumb. That's really going to hurt them. Not that they were in a great position, but just kind of keeps bringing them down even further.
And at 29th, we got our Detroit Pistons. Cade has been really inconsistent so far, but he's still putting up solid numbers. In the last video, we talked about Olynyk, and it still matters. Like he's kind of the guy that was solidifying the big man role, because Stu is more of a kind of power forward at, not a center. And it's really showing their lack of depth for the center position. That's why they're on this 0-4 skid right now.
Let's go to 28th. We have the Houston Rockets, another team that's kind of just chaotic right now. Definitely not good to see Jalen Green, even though he's only out for a week. That's never good news to see a guy have to sit out. And then, the drama with John Wall. I really don't know what's going on there. The guy's got hefty contract, multiple injuries, and he kind of just wants to keep playing basketball. So hopefully they can find a position and a situation for him to fit a role, something that benefits both teams.
And at 27th, we got the Thunder. And let's go. Michigan just got revealed number 2. But we got the Thunder. Not really much except Josh Giddey still making TikToks in the locker room. That's pretty much all you need to know about this team right now, but they got a bright future with all their draft picks.
Up next, we got the Pelicans, another team that hasn't really been nothing to watch so far. The only good thing they got going for them is Zion, back at practice after the injury. I don't think anyone really knows what his condition looks like right now. The last time we saw him, he looked extremely overweight for a basketball player. So I'll be curious to see how he fits right into this role coming off an injury.
25th, we got the Spurs, and I feel like this team is, just forgotten about this year. They still got Pop, but other than that, I really couldn't tell you who's on the roster this year except Jacob Patel. It's going to be another rough rebuilding year, and Pop is just, getting older as we speak. So this could be his last year. Who knows? I don't think he's an attention guy. So if he does retire after this year, it's still a good career, but they still got a long way to go till the end of the year.
Coming up next, we got the Sacramento Kings, another team, coming in 24th. Not much to talk about except for kind of a sleeper guy, Harrison Barnes, averaging about 19 points a game with 6 rebounds. And Harrison Barnes has been around the league for quite some years now, and that's only going to bring up trade rumors for him just to be putting up numbers playing for Sacramento.
Maybe back to Golden State.
Yeah, that could be.
23rd, we got the Raptors, and OG Anunoby. His injury is pretty much what has derailed this team so far. Everyone else has been playing really good.
Dragic is out for personal reasons now too, which is just not an unfortunate situation.
But yeah, it's kind of getting the Raptors starting to have injuries, drama, and it's starting to kind of spiral down, slow and steady. But hopefully they can turn that around before our next video.
So coming next, we have the Indiana Pacers, another team, coming in 22nd, staying at 22nd, going 2-3. I think this team is just kind of in the middle of, do we try to go after superstars or do we try to go after our draft picks? I feel like there's not much spotlight on this team at all. No one really knows what's going on. Personally, I really don't either. I think it's TJ Warren, right? He's not really providing what they expected of him. And I don't really think a lot of people expected much just from his bubble performance, but yeah, we'll see what route they go.
21st, we got the Grizzlies, and the big storyline here is Ja Morant. He's hurt right now. I think they're saying he'll come back soon. It's not like a huge significant injury, but losing your franchise guy is never a good sign. And, they're still staying afloat, though, in the very competitive NBA so far this year at 10-10. Definitely not something to be proud of, but, you can't really hang your head on that. record so far, especially through 20 games, not halfway, a fourth through the season. I think the Grizzlies can't complain where they are. The only thing they just need to, look forward to in the upcoming 62 games is Ja Morant being healthy.
Right. Coming up next, we got the Cavs, who kind of started off the year like, wow, maybe this team has potential running a big lineup, which is kind of an ordinary for the NBA now. But I think now we're kind of seeing that it just doesn't work. You have Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. You got a bunch of big dudes. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't know. We'll see what route they take. They're still pretty young. I like that. I like Jared Allen on the roster. I like Evan Mobley, but as of right now, it's not a fit for the league.
And at 19th, we got the Timberwolves, who kind of been streaky now. The 4-1 since our last video, and 11-10 record, especially in the East, is never, I guess, not a good thing because the East is not as competitive as the West so far. But this team somehow is finding ways to win. I don't really know how they're doing it, honestly.
Anthony Edwards, man, is a dog. Anthony Edwards is legit.
Potential MVP candidate for sure.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards. But outside of him and Cat, there's not really much going on there. And Anthony Edwards has pretty much carried this team to this 11-10 record. So they're going to need some guys to step up, if they want to continue this through the rest of this year.
Yep. Next, we got the Trailblazers ranked at 18th, which is kind of where I think they're going to sit for the year. I feel like every video we've kind of said, oh, don't worry, like they're going to come around. They're going to come around. They're going to come around. And granted, Dame and CJ have gotten better, but I think we all know that this is just not a finals team right now. And frankly, they're really not winning games either. And we don't even see that often. They always sneak in the playoffs. Dame kind of goes off. But at this rate, it's not even looking like they'll make that cut. They're really struggling over there. They simply got to make moves. I respect Dame's loyalty, even CJ, but I just don't think it's the right fit if they really want that ring.
Mm-hmm. At 17th, we've got the Nuggets, and they've been struggling as well. I believe they just got their first win in, I don't remember how many games, but it's been at least 4 or 5 for a struggling Nuggets team. And once again, we get to bring up the name Jamal Murray because that's pretty much what their savior is going to be, it looks like, this year. Jokic is obviously still playing great, but, without a guard that, gets the ball to Jokic and can score like 20 a night, this team doesn't really have much. And that's kind of why they're kind of just staying afloat here at 10-10, because Jokic can dominate against teams that, don't really have a big that can compete with him. But if they do, like if they're going up against the Suns, Ayton and Jokic, they're going to get their fair shares. But what else can the team do? And that's why the Nuggets are kind of in the middle of the pack right now.
Definitely. Next, we have the LA Lakers. Interesting team. I can't say I'm a fan, but I have to respect Russ. I don't like the guy. I didn't think the fit was working. Granted, their last game was against Detroit. That's a win. But Russ has been putting up numbers, man. Like these last 6-7 games, his field goal percentage is spiraling up. Turnovers, slowly going down. But the assist numbers are back up. He's getting his rebounds, and he's putting up points efficiently. And I think the first game the Lakers played Detroit was the first time LeBron really clicked with him. And I think it's kind of escalated since then. So I think they're headed in a better direction than what they were. I still don't know if they'll be consistent enough to just keep it going throughout the year, though.
And at 15th, we got the Hawks, who are starting to slowly get back to that ice tray season that they had last year. This team didn't lose much. I think they lost maybe like one bench role player last year. But they re-signed Capella, got their key stars back, John Collins. And I think it's more of just knocking off all the rust of the playoff run. Because obviously the chemistry is still there. It's just they just got to put it together. And I think come All-Star break, even after the All-Star break, they're really going to hit their stride. And I expect this Hawks team, to finish top 10 for sure heading into the playoffs.
Definitely. Coming up next, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. I feel like for them to be ranked 14th right now is somewhat impressive without, Embiid with the COVID issues. I initially didn't realize he was actually pretty sick. And it wasn't until the Karl Anthony Towns interview where he reached out and said that he was getting better. So, hopefully we get to see a healthy Embiid sometime soon. And hopefully he gets better, because that's really why you're going to watch the 76ers. Tyrese Maxey putting up his numbers. He's being a great role player for the position he's in. Seth Curry, we watched him outscore Steph Curry the other night. This guy's legit too. So I think when Embiid gets back and hopefully the Simmons situation figures itself out and they can get something, that this team will be right back in competition.
And 13th, we got the Dallas Mavericks with Luca. And, Luca had a minor scare injury, but he's all right. He's played. And I believe a few nights ago or last night, he had a triple-double. So, Luca just doing Luca stuff. And once again, we're just going to mention it till it happens, is they need someone else for Luca. Porzingis, it was a failed experiment, and it's time to get rid of him, I think.
Yep.
And I think, I'm going to say Bradley Beal, would be an interesting name. But right now, the Wizards are just kind of going at it. So I don't know why they would get rid of him. But, if something were to happen with the Wizards where they started spiraling downhill, that's definitely a name to look out for the Mavericks team.
Following up, we got the Clippers coming in at 12th. I mean, we're kind of seeing the Paul George that we're really used to seeing, I feel like, at this point. It's really nice to see him kind of come out of his shell again and just be that aggressive player that he was. Unfortunate Kawhi's out. We really don't know if we'll see him at all this year. I like the Reggie Jackson move. I don't think this team's a final contender. I don't think they will be, but like I said, it's really nice to see Paul George once again break out and start really putting up these numbers again that we're all used to seeing.
And we have breaking news on our show here, as LeBron James has tested positive for COVID. It is confirmed by All Sports News that he is going to miss an extended period of time, and it's going to be his 12th missed game of the year already.
Oh.
And, for that Lakers team, we might have to drop him down for the next rankings. You guys are going to have to come back to, come and see that. So you got to like and subscribe, stay up to date with us. But we're going to get right back into our video here, as we got the Hornets coming in at 11th, and LaMelo Ball, another MVP candidate. No sophomore slump, it seems like, for last year's rookies. And he really is the franchise guy, and the Hornets did take, the right pick there. After Ant, it was the conversation of who do we take, LaMelo, should we not take LaMelo? It was more kind of that. And I believe through a year and a half that LaMelo is the guy. And I think he brings a little swagger to the Hornets as well.
Absolutely. So next up, coming at 10th, we've got the Celtics. This is another team I've just kind of been skeptical on all the time. Jason Tatum, I feel like, is such like a night on, night off player, but at the same time, now I feel like they're escalating their game a lot more. Jaylen Brown is able to play now. Marcus Smart, you got Al Horford back in Boston. This team could be legit if they just stayed consistent and on the same path and went to the playoffs with confidence and could win at home. I think the Celtics, they're looking better than what I imagined they would be, but I just don't know if they have it in them.
And at 9th, we got the New York Knicks. Julius Randle's starting to put it together again. Off to a slow start at the beginning, but him and his Knicks team are doing pretty well. But Kemba Walker, getting demoted to the bench, potentially sixth man. I don't know if it's with his play, just limiting minutes because of his knee history, or maybe they just think he's going to be better off the bench. I don't know what it is, but Thibodeau, he's a great coach and he knows what he's doing. So maybe he's just, hiding a trick up his sleeve here and trying to get the young guys, some more minutes to start the game, all that kind of stuff. So could be definitely something worth watching. And worth watching is Obi Toppin. It seems like he just fell off the face of the earth, honestly. I haven't heard his name in NBA, in a while. But I think a key factor to this Knicks team being good is Obi, just because, Julius Randle can't do it all for him. And moving forward, they're going to need a guy, come off the bench for Randall when he needs minutes, and Obi's gonna have to be that guy.
So coming in at the 8th spot, we have the Washington Wizards, only moving down one spot. This team is the shocker team of the league this year. I don't think anyone expected to see Spencer Dinwiddie, Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, Bradley Beal get it together. And I've been wanting to see Bradley out of Washington for years. So, I mean, shout out to the Wizards organization for trusting the process, and, Beal for being the loyal player he is, just keep building that, just keep trying. And they finally have like winning chemistry. And it's like they all kind of want to play for each other. It seemed like when Russ was there, it was Russ or Brad, but now it's just they're a team. And it's nice seeing these guys come out here and win.
7th, we got the Miami Heat. And, just fell a spot. They've just been 2-2 since the last ranking, 13-8, still off to a great start. Jimmy and Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero having a great year. Bam Adebayo, not really having a year where he's normally used to having. And I think he's going to pick it up eventually here. And if he does, watch out for this Heat team. Definitely serious title contenders right now. And I don't know what else to say about this Heat team is, they're streaky, that's for sure. And I don't know, I still wouldn't want to play this Heat team, just matchup wise. You got Hero coming off the bench where he could be a starter on probably at least half of NBA franchises.
Yes.
But nonetheless, give the Heat credit for putting a great team together, and it's really showing that it's working out through these first 21 games for them.
It's coming at 6. We got the Chicago Bulls, the team I feel like a lot of people wanted to see perform how they are. These guys are standing out this year. Lonzo at the point, I think, was one of the best offseason moves any team could have made. I'm a big believer in Lonzo. I think he's getting better every year. DeMar DeRozan, he quiet player, but you got to throw him in MVP talks every now and again. Preseason, his name was in there. Guy's a dog. I really like this team. I hope they continue to win. And I'd really like to see them potentially contend for a ring at some point too.
And 5th, we get the Milwaukee Bucks, who, they're starting to pick it back up again. Like, this Bucks team looks like the title team. 13-8 record, off to a really poor start. But now they're starting to pick it up, 5 games above 500. Giannis is playing out of his mind, still the same Giannis. And
just got Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, just signed Marcus for the rest of the year. Don't really know how it's going to work out. But nonetheless, I mean, it's still a good move for them, just giving them depth and just another big on the floor that, can shoot, take over a game really if you needed to. But him and Giannis on the floor at the same time, it's going to be tough for defenses to guard. And I definitely think it's a great move for the Bucks going forward.
Coming in at 4th, the classic Utah Jazz. Here we are. We're going to say the same things about them. How are they here? They just win. They just win basketball games. That's plain and simple. Donovan Mitchell is a star. Rudy Gobert, once again, is being the defensive player he is, putting up numbers. Jordan Clarkson was your 6th man of the year last year. This team is legit. They're good. They're gonna go in depth in the playoffs. They know what it's like. They've been there before. So, I mean, once again, this is a team that we can no longer sleep on, and we have to start kind of respecting. You got to keep their name in that mention.
And at 3, we got the Brooklyn Nets. This team, not really much to talk about except Harden and KD. At least, they've been the most consistent, but Patty Mills was really good at the beginning, and now he's kind of starting to fall off. And I really think losing Dinwiddie is going to hurt them in the long run.
Definitely.
Just because, the whole Kyrie situation still to this day not playing. And they didn't know that, when they got rid of Dinwiddie.
Right.
And Dinwiddie has shown for the Wizards that he can be a top 10 point guard in this league. And, this Brooklyn team, it's just kind of hard to not put them in the top 5, but they really aren't playing like a top 5 team. Joe
Harris is getting that ankle surgery now too. That's put him out for at least 6 weeks. So, I mean, that was your shooter. Harden's more of that facilitating guy now, and it's going to be hard. I feel like part of me thinks that Harden's got to get back in that scoring ability.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And I think realistically, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. Seasoned vets, bigs, that are going to have to, take over a game every once in a while. And the key is, can they do that? And if they can, this Nets team will be a top 5 team for the rest of the year. But if they can't, they may start looking elsewhere, especially the trade deadline on 1-year contracts, some rental players. But right now, I mean, there's no worry for the Nets. 8 games above 500 and kind of cruising in some of these victories.
Yep. So coming in second, that I'm sure you guys can put together who's in first, but, debatably one of the best teams in the NBA as well as the Phoenix Suns right now. I mean, these guys are on a 16-game win streak right now. That is almost unheard of. I mean, Chris Paul is leading the NBA in assists again at his age. This guy is literally in MVP conversations almost every year, and we kind of wonder how, and it's like, this guy is consistently in and out, so solid, and he brings teams together, and he is such a necessary asset for them. Mm-hmm. Devin Booker, once again, putting up numbers, crazy points, getting around, I think he dropped 30 the other night. And I mean, we'll see, tonight, we'll see if that streak's going to continue. They got the Warriors on the clock. I'd like to see them win. I'd like to see them keep winning games. I think they're a fun team to watch, and no one really expected them to just continue to just dominate this league.
And of course, at 1, we got the Golden State Warriors, who give us no reason to not put them there. Definitely a great matchup, as we're talking right now. Great game tonight. And, whoever wins this game is pretty much going to be number 1 next week, in all honesty. Right. The Warriors, without Clay, 18-2 record. I think they would have took 12-8, 13-7, somewhere around there. But they are just on fire right now. Steph is another MVP front runner yet again. And Wiggins is having a great year. Poole, coming out of nowhere, shooting the lights out of the building. And, I think it's going to come down to, once again, Wiseman and the bigs for the Warriors. Come, after All-Star break, playoff time, when people actually play defense, they're going to start to, lock up on Steph, Poole, and Thompson, make him, kind of take easy inside shots. And it's going to come down to, if the bigs can finish. But right now, they don't need to worry about that. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs, at least for a 3 or higher seed, if they keep playing like this. And, Warriors, Curry, Steve Kerr, they just run it back every year, it seems like. And last year was a fluke year where they didn't do too hot. And going forward, it just seems like they're ready to maybe start another dynasty with Curry. Mm-hmm. We'll see. And got a lot of NBA season left to go, but we'll keep releasing these videos for sure. Brady, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing except for, if you guys are tuning in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. It means a lot. We're really trying to put out this content, read up on it. We really appreciate all the views. So just continue doing our thing, and we'll catch you guys later.
She never called back.